Chicago, New York. Their baseball teams infamous for different reasons. The Cubs for the longest championship drought. The Yankees for the most titles in all of sports. Baseball legend occurred in 1932 with the Babes' called shot at Wrigley Field. These two storied franchises meet this weekend for only the 4th time in history and the first time in New York since 1938. That's 67 years ago if you're counting at home. The Chicago guy pointing to his chest. The Yankee guy saying, we're hot right now. What a great matchup today on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. The Chicago Cubs and the New York Yankees from the Bronx. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck, Tim McCarver in just a second. A week ago, the Yankees were wrapping up a 3-9 road trip, and everybody was wondering how far the Yankees would fall. People were wondering if Joe Torre would keep his job. Well, look what's happened on this little homestand run. 4-0. And Tim McCarver, when you think about how they've done it with one main guy in their lineup, and that's Hideki Matsui.
Certainly this week that's been the case. It's been a topsy-turvy season for the Yankees. More topsy than turvy this week, and it started out so dismally last Sunday in St. Louis. Matsui slipping and sliding. The Yankees thought that he would be out for some time, spraining his left ankle, but not so on Tuesday night. A huge home run against the Pittsburgh Pirates. The same thing against Oliver Perez on Thursday night against Pittsburgh. And then last night, a big home run against the Chicago Cubs.
Let's talk about the other side of this matchup, and that's the Chicago Cubs. Dusty Baker's actually pretty pleased with where the Cubs are right now. They may be 7.5 games out in the division, but they're treading water. They're going to get Wood and Pryor back shortly. And the guy that they've been thrilled about all year long is Derek Lee.
I think you could safely say that what Matsui has done for a week, Derek Lee's done all season long for the Chicago Cubs. He is a legitimate contender for the first Triple Crown since 1967.
Does it have a nice ring to it? Yes, it does. Cubs and Yankees, Fox Saturday Baseball. Let's go. I'll admit it right now. I had this game circled on the calendar when it came out, as I couldn't wait to see the Cubs come to Yankee Stadium to play the Yankees.
Me too.
Doesn't make me a bad guy.
No. Nope.
So here we are, packed house. And here's a look at the Cubs lineup. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. Nafi Perez leads it off. He's the shortstop. Patterson bats second and center. Derek Lee, what a year. You see what he's doing down at the bottom of your screen. He's at first. Jeremy Burnitz is in right. Ramos Ramirez at third. Todd Walker is at second. Michael Barrett is the catcher. And Todd Hollandsworth is in left with Jason DuBois, the DH, batting in the number 9 spot. And that lineup will be dealing with the right-hander, Chien-Ming Wang. And there are the statistics. He's pitching with 8 days of rest after a rough one 2 Fridays ago in St. Louis. Hey, kids, let's hear from Scooter. Scooter, what's a changeup do?
Hello, friends. It's Scooter. A changeup is just another word for a slow ball. While the batter is looking for a real fast pitch, the pitcher throws me really, really slow.
And from Scooter to your scouting report, Timmy.
Well, Scooter is working on his Taiwanese. He's not quite there yet. Wang is sneaky fast, deceptive changeup. Joe Torre says it's his second best pitch, and he is extremely poised. And as Jimmy Fry used to say about Doc Gooden, when you could throw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, I'd be poised too out there.
Poise comes easily.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Wang. See how State Farm covers the field. See how the Yankees cover the field. Womack in left, Williams in center, Sheffield in right. With A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, Tino Martinez is at first today. Last night it was Giambi. Posada is the catcher. Wang is the pitcher, and the DH is the red-hot Hideki Matsui. So a little later start than we're used to. We've had a couple of 3 o'clock starts back-to-back weekends, and we're glad you're with us on this day from Yankee Stadium. The Cubs come in 34-31, 7.5 games behind the Cardinals in the NL Central, but treading water while they wait for Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor to come back. And the first pitch is grounded to Cano. 1 out. 1 down, and Corey Patterson will be the batter. That came easy for Chin-Ming Wong.
Seems like treading water is about as acceptable as a par in the open as far as the Cubs are concerned. Cubs aren't looking for any birdies right now.
No.
They will accept the par, and they have been playing really above par over the last month, particularly since losing Mark Pryor.
You'd take a par at Pinehurst,
I'd
wouldn't
take a par anywhere. You kidding?
1 pitch with 1 out, and Corey Patterson is the hitter. They're still waiting. They're still waiting for Patterson to make better contact. He swings at the first pitch more than any hitter in baseball. He does it right there. He has strike 1, and this broadcast is also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. And there are a ton of Cub fans in attendance here at Yankee Stadium. They're all over the country, all over the world. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out, nobody on. That is not Ryan Sandberg taking a picture here at Yankee Stadium.
Favors him, though.
Off the end of the bat for strike 2. Talked about Patterson and the fact that he swings at the first pitch. If the Cubs need anything, it's Patterson to settle in and make better contact and use that good combination of power and speed to be the leadoff hitter. But Tim, we've been talking about that, and they've been talking about that for 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's hard for a sage manager like Dusty Baker to get it across to a young hitter like Corey Patterson that if you take early, you actually get better pitches to hit. Take early, you hit better. But now Patterson facing a 2-strike count, and you're always swinging defensively as he did at that 1-2 pitch.
Never do you really like to put up a graphic that has anything with a point something like 47.2%, but he is by far the leader in that category of swinging at the first pitch across Major League Baseball. He did it in this at bat, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We talked about the Cubs treading water and hanging around the 500 mark. They're 3 games over. But when you consider you've got Wood on the way back, he'll make his second rehab start tomorrow in Des Moines for the Cubs. Then he'll make another rehab start, and that probably will be it. He'll be back with the big league club. Patterson chops another one to the second baseman. Cano flips it, 2 out. On Monday, Kerry Wood made that first rehab start. He is tired of talking about his pitching mechanics. There's been some suggesting that his body gets way out in front of his arm, and that's why he has the arm trouble. He looks like maybe he's slowed it down a little bit, putting less strain on the shoulder and the elbow. But the point is, he's on his way back. Pryor pitched a simulated game here yesterday, and he's well ahead of schedule. Hope to get him back in the early part of July. Here's Lee. He takes a strike. And Tim, if the NL Central isn't a viable option for the Cubs, I believe the wild card is, because the National League East is just going to feed on itself. Those teams are going to start playing head to head. They're all good. They're all going to be beating up on each other. And a team like the Cubs, which should get better as this year goes on, might sneak in there and grab that thing.
It's certainly been the case thus far in the National League East. I think everybody will agree that it's the most competitive division, even though the American League East can almost match it, particularly now with the Yankees making a move yet again.
2 balls and a strike on Derek Lee, who leads the major leagues in hits with 94. Leads the major leagues in average at 385, and he is having the year of a lifetime as A-Rod backs up at third, has to use the arm, and safe. A-Rod laid back, had to unleash a strong throw, got it over there on target, but too late, evidently.
Well, if you don't lay back on a ball like this, you don't get the high hop. If you charge that ball, you get an in-between hop. And Derek Lee looked out to me.
Oh. Even with his belt coming off. Rodriguez, that's why the call shocked me just watching it from up here. The ball is in the glove right there.
Yeah, he was out.
I mean, out by half a step, but Paul Schreiber is 0 for 1. And I guess when you're hitting 385, you get breaks like that. He's made his own breaks, though, with pounding the baseball with those 18 home runs, 57 RBIs. And I think to his credit, legging out a ground ball to the third baseman and at least making it close. There's a wide strike to Jeremy Burnitz. There are the numbers for Burnitz. 287, 11 home runs, and he was one of the guys the Cubs brought in on the departure of both Sammy Sosa and Moises Alou after last season. Well, Sosa got an early jump on his exit. Here's the 0-1. 0-2.
Sammy says he didn't, however, that he didn't leave early. The Cubs said he did. Sammy Sosa telling Tom Verducci of Sports Illustrated just recently, about 10 days ago, that the Cubs do not have that tape of him leaving early. The Cubs say they do.
Here comes an 0-2 pitch. Got him looking. How could there be a tape of a guy leaving early? In the parking lot. Be careful where you park if you're a Cubs outfielder. They're watching. No score after a half. Fox Saturday Baseball brought to you by State Farm. Great service, great rates. That's why 40 million drivers trust State Farm. And by Chevy, the new Chevrolet is an American revolution. Bottom of the first inning. And here's a lineup for the New York Yankees. Drum roll, please. Music. Derek Jeter will lead it off. He's the shortstop. Tony Womack in left. This is brought to you by Taco Bell. Gary Sheffield in right. A-Rod is cleaning up. Matsui is the DH. Jorge Posada, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, and Robinson Cano is the second baseman batting ninth. No, Gary Sheffield is not going to the Cubs. That was a hot rumor last week. First pitch is a strike. Glendon Rush has been unbelievable. 8 starts, 5-2 record, an ERA of 2.5. And really, since he's put on a Cub uniform, he's been fantastic. And I know you liked the way Dusty Baker described the difference between now and then with Glendon Rush.
Oh, I loved it. He said he's pitching like a left-hander now and not a right-hander. Left-handers have more natural movement than right-handers, and sometimes a guy like Glendon Rush is too impressed with the guys around him. When he was with the New York Mets, he used to try to ride the ball in on Al Leiter. But in order to do that, you have to have a heavier, harder fastball. You have to deal with what you have. He doesn't have the type fastball to do that, so he's staying away much more now.
He misses down and in, and the count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes. Glendon Rush in his career against the Yankees 0-6 with an ERA over 7, and he gets a strikeout of Jeter to start his day. Larry Rothschild is the pitching coach for Dusty Baker, and here are Larry's thoughts on what they see when Glendon is working well.
I think you'll see him moving the ball in and out and changing speeds effectively and really into the strike zone early in a game. And he's going to stay on the hitters aggressively, and I think that's his reputation. It's just like any other pitcher. You're throwing 2 and 3 pitches for strikes right away, hitting spots with the fastball, and you know that's what just about everybody does when they're going good.
There's a lot in that comment. That's what a lot of guys do when they're going good or well, is hit spots with the fastball.
Womack, the disgruntled Tony Womack, who's not thrilled that he's playing the outfield these days, signed here to be a second baseman. He's taken over left field when the Yankees brought up Robinson Cano. And to Tony's credit, he's not been all that outspoken about it, but it's bubbling underneath. As at this stage in his career, he's trying to learn a new position in the big leagues and trying to do it here at Yankee Stadium, all the while trying to hit and contribute and get on base. And lately that's been tough to do. He's hitting only .244. That's up the middle. Tough play for Perez. Womack can run, but he's out. 2 down.
After being released last August by the San Francisco Giants, Neifi Perez has been a godsend to the Cubs. This ball stays down. No, it did come up. But Perez, nonetheless, a very, very good play.
Take a look at the defense. Show you how State Farm covers the field and how the Cubs line up defensively. An outfield of Hollinsworth, Patterson, and Burnitz left to right. Ramirez, Perez, Walker, and Lee, with Michael Barrett, an improving catcher and a guy who really has done well since the Cubs got him. Montreal Expos, where they were ping-ponging him back and forth between third and catcher. He's behind the plate, and Sheffield is granted time awfully late. A strikeout of Jeter. Womack grounded out. And now an 0-1 to Sheffield, misses. Glendon Rush, before he got to the Cubs, had a winning percentage of .356 and a career ERA of 5.11. Since he's come to the Cubs, he's won 11 of 15 decisions with an ERA just over 3 at 3.16. He was 1-2 with Milwaukee in 2003. Signed by Texas, cut loose in spring training prior to last year. The Cubs signed him late. And you have to ask the question, where would Dusty Baker's team be without somebody like Glendon Rush, who's a good utility pitcher, meaning he can set up relieve, he can long relieve, he can spot start. He's gotten a lot of big outs while filling the role that was set out there for Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor, who have both been on the disabled list before joining the Cubs. After joining Chicago, that 11-4 record. A 3-2 to Sheffield is hammered into left center field. Patterson kicks it in left center. Sheffield is going to cruise into second base. And we'll see what they call it. Probably a double. But had Patterson come up with that cleanly in left center, he may have held Sheffield to a 2-out single.
For Sheffield, just hammering that high fastball. He is one of the few in the big leagues who can do that. I think this is a double. I think had Patterson come up with the ball, it's going to be a very, very tough play.
Well, sir,
wrong.
It's a single, E8.
Okay.
And we thank Willie Mays for being the official scorer for today's game at Yankee Stadium. With 2 out, here is Alex Rodriguez.
That's the one thing you don't see. You saw that graphic earlier that the Cubs have allowed 16 unearned runs. That's second best in the major leagues. The Yankees are second worst in the major leagues. They've allowed 40 unearned runs.
And the Yankees have been awful in this position. 2 out and a runner in scoring position. They have 2 out, and they have that man Sheffield in scoring position here in the first. A single, an error, and Alex Rodriguez, having a monster year, at least a monster first half, is up on the count 2-1. He's number 3 in the AL in average, number 1 in home runs, number 1 in RBIs. Two balls and a strike. Off the hands, right center field, falling in a hurry, base hit. It gets behind Patterson. Either way, Sheffield was going to score, and it's 1-0 New York. RBI number 59 for Alex Rodriguez.
Rush tries to jam Rodriguez, and Patterson, because he's respecting A-Rod's power to right center field, can't come up with it. It skips by him, but not far enough to allow Rodriguez to go to second base.
Got Patterson talking to himself out in center field as the inning continues. A hit, an error, a flare hit, and And the Yankees, riding a 4-game winning streak, have their hottest hitter at the plate, Hideki Matsui. The home runs have come in bunches, at least during the week. He had a big night last night in the Yankees' 9-6 win in Game 1 of this series. He drove in 5. And during the homestand, we'll show you the numbers that he's put together, all while playing with a twisted right ankle. We won't get the chance as Derek Lee makes a good play to his right to end the inning. The Yankees score first, a 2-out rally, an error mixed in, and after 1 at Yankee Stadium, New York on top, 1-0. The Yankees score first. They've done that in all 5 games of this homestand. They're 4-0 to this point after that wretched 3-9 road trip. And with the wins, the Yankees are 2 games over 500, and all of a sudden only 5 games out behind the Orioles. Although I'll admit something about myself. For some reason, and it's probably because I'm not very smart, 6 games out sounds awful. 5 games out, for some reason, sounds like it's well within reach. It's true. Why is that? Here's a ground ball to the left side for Rodriguez. Cuts in front of Jeter, 1 out. The Burger King have it your way home field advantage. We give you a look at Monument Park. At Burger King, you can have it your way. Put together in 1932, the first monument was dedicated to the memory of Miller Huggins, who died suddenly in 1929. Huggins won 6 AL pennants, 3 world championships in his 11-plus years, and then Ruth and Gehrig. The next 2 monuments that followed as Todd Walker goes after the first pitch and flies to center. It's obvious the scouting report that the Cubs have on Shin-Ming Wong is to swing at the first pitch, because just about everybody has to this point in the game. And they're 2 out, nobody on here in the second for Chicago.
Certainly an indication that a pitcher is around the plate when you get a lot of first ball swinging, even though the Cubs are a free swinging lineup anyway.
So you're throwing water on my theory?
No, absolutely not.
Will Barrett swing at the first pitch? He shows bunts. Takes a ball low. How much better has Michael Barrett gotten in a Cubs uniform? He has been a solid, everyday, run-producing catcher, and they're hard to find.
Second in the major leagues in RBIs. And taking a strike to even the count.
95 miles per hour from Wong on that last pitch. It's Barrett with 2 out, nobody on. And a ground ball to A-Rod. Nice play off his left hip, and the inning is over. Wong is working quickly, and he gets a nice play from Rodriguez to end the top of the second. Bottom half coming up. Yankees on top by 1. Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the bright color and crisp, clean taste you'll only find in the king of beers. What a beautiful day it is here in the Bronx. Cub fans are here. The Yankee fans obviously packing this place. And this is game 2 of a fun weekend series. And the beginning of a 13-game homestand, at least the first half for the Yankees. Everybody's going after the first pitch. 1 out as Jorge Posada lines to Corey Patterson. In honor of Father's Day, we'll be taking time to support the Home Run Challenge, which is Major League Baseball's effort to raise money to find a cure for prostate cancer. For every home run hit today, $30,000 will be donated toward prostate cancer research. And as we do every year, we get a chance to visit with Michael Milken. This is obviously a cause that's near and dear to your heart, and we've been talking about this for 9 years.
9 years, Major League Baseball, prostate cancer, and the 2 of you and Fox have probably saved more lives than almost any doctor in America by getting men checked during this Father's Day weekend.
And amazingly, we always seem to get together, and we've got somebody of importance in the game that we can talk about who's been through it. And in today's game, we've got Dusty Baker, who's been through prostate cancer. We've got Joe Torre, who's been through the same. And so it's a relevant message that we're sending out today?
Well, every manager, and obviously those two individuals have been really great spokesmen, but every manager and every team has a player rep. Our player rep in Chicago, Derek Lee, is off to a pretty good start this season.
Not bad.
And Giambi and Martinez are two player reps in the Yankees.
Bernie Williams gets a base hit to right with one out here in the second. And I know that I talked to Robin Ventura last night, who's now part of the staff.
Yes, he's been traveling around. We're about to set, a major league record. We're going to see all 30 teams play in 20 days. 23 ballparks, all 30 teams, 20 days.
So, I mean, he's telling me the schedule that you guys are keeping, you're going to need a nap at the end of this month.
No, just saving lives is good enough energy for us. When you consider 1 in 6 men in America get diagnosed with prostate cancer.
You have some scoop for us, too, right? Robin Ventura had dinner with Alex Rodriguez the other night?
He sure did. They were out there talking about how Robin won those 6 golden gloves. And not only that, we had another person with good hand-eye coordination there, Wayne Gretzky, who's been traveling around with us.
What a group you're putting together. And Lasorda, he's gone over to the, where is he, in Japan?
He's representing the president in Japan, but he went to 16 ballparks with us. And as you know, he's the best ambassador for baseball we have. But I just can't tell you enough how much it's meant with Fox support and your support. The month that most men get checked for prostate cancer is now June in America. And it's greatly due to this program of keeping dad in the game. And we are committed, along with the National Cancer Institute, of not only eliminating prostate cancer as a cause of death, but all cancer as a cause of death in the next decade.
What age group are we talking about with prostate cancer? Where does it typically strike? And if you're talking to the population, what's the age group we're focusing on here?
Well, I think most men get checked by 50. If you're an African-American man with a higher incidence, by 40. Any family history, 40. We had a young man here in New York last year, got diagnosed at 32. So I would say generally 40 if you have any family history, and definitely by 50 today.
Well, Michael, it's always good to have you on. It's good to get the update. What's the running total now that you've been able to raise?
Well, we have 93 home runs. We're on pace for about 150, and we're looking for a few in the ball game today. And we're also, excited for everyone to come out to a ball game tomorrow. Bring your dad to a ball game, and the theme of this program is keep dad in the game. Let him get tested for prostate cancer. And the death rate has dropped significantly due to two things: the increased research and awareness, which the two of you brought on. And we're happy to see you're wearing our blue today, guys.
You've got the blue wristbands. You've got that's your color, blue.
Yep, well, tomorrow in ballparks all throughout America, you'll see these blue wristbands on the announcers, the players, the managers, the ground crew, and in the clubhouse. And it's just a reminder, we only have one dad, and it's so easy to get that simple blood test, to catch it early, and the results are so strong. And now with our advanced research, the results have improved with those people with advanced prostate cancer.
That's slapped down the left field line foul. Michael, thanks for checking in. Congratulations on all the great work you're doing.
And let's root for a few home runs.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Tim.
All right.
Thank you, Joe.
Michael Milken, Prostate Cancer Foundation, and all the great work that they're doing. Help keep dad in the game. Father's Day is tomorrow. Robinson Cano is at the plate. Tim will tell you what's happened the earlier part of this inning. I have no idea. Posada went after the first pitch. I remember that.
No home runs.
No home runs. He lined to right. Then a hit by Williams. Then a strikeout. And now a ground out into the hole. Perez made the play, and off we go into the third inning here at Yankee Stadium. 1-0 New York. Back after this from your local Fox station. A look inside the Cubs dugout as Todd Hollandsworth leads it off for Chicago. Third inning, 1-0. The Yankees out in front on that 2-out RBI hit by Rodriguez in the first. It's Hollandsworth, the boys, the DH, and then Nafi Perez. 8-9-1 for the Cubs here in the third. Hollandsworth off the end of the bat so far. Wong has been baffling to these Cub hitters. 1 out. Good movement on these pitches, good velocity. He is showing Chicago a lot, and Wong is a guy who is in the rotation. Tim, the Yankees are concerned and wondering if Kevin Brown is going to go on the disabled list because of the back spasms that hit him during this past week during a start. So they're going to call up a young lefty by the name of Sean Henn, who's already made one rough start against Tampa Bay. He'll get him again this week when the Devil Rays come to Yankee Stadium. And this guy's been as consistent really as anybody they've had.
Yeah, he really has. I think his consistency is the only thing, perhaps, and arguably, that is dampening the talk about Roger Clemens coming to the Yankees. Is Wong's improvement. Because if Wong falters badly, then I think there's going to be more talks heating up about Roger Clemens coming to the Bronx. I didn't think that initially, but I do think that now.
Calling Robin Ventura. His little meeting with Alex Rodriguez is paying immediate dividends, and I'm sure A-Rod will say, yep, that's it. It's all Robin Ventura.
And if we get to the 5th inning or the 6th inning and the Chicago Cubs have only one hit, naturally we're going to replay that ball hit by Derek Lee, fielded by Alex Rodriguez, when he was clearly out at first base, but the Cubs got a break, and so did Derek Lee.
Mayfi Perez will step in. He took the first pitch and grounded out to Cano at second, his first time up. The Cubs had a 6-1 road trip that took them through the southern part of California, San Diego, Los Angeles, and then came home and they thought, well, here we go. Starting to turn around, and they put together a 4-5 homestand. They have overall been hot of late, but they missed that chance at home, and now they're at the beginning of a 10-game road trip. And having to start it here in New York. The 0-1 pitch popped up. Jeter out from short. That is automatic. And we go to the bottom of the 3rd, rolling through 2.5 at Yankee Stadium. Interleague baseball, 1-0. New York on top. Top of the order for the Yankees. That means Jeter, Womack, and Sheffield against the left-hander Glendon Rush. And first pitch swinging, strike one. Jeter struck out his first time, then Womack grounded out. Sheffield a base hit into left center, a hit and an error sent him to second, and Alex Rodriguez flared one to center for the only run of the day. What are you cooking up over there? Who do you want to talk about?
Well, the fact that Jeter when he puts the ball in play, on the ground more than any other major leaguer. We talked about Corey Patterson, who swings at the first pitch more often. Well, Derek Jeter puts the ball in play on the ground, which is rather unusual for Derek. His average is high, but his home run production, of course, he's not a home run hitter, but 6 on the year, 18 extra base hits. But this year, he feels, and I feel, like he's hitting the ball on the ground more than he has at any other time since his rookie season back in 1996.
Well, you think about the home runs that came early in Jeter's career. I think it made everybody think that those numbers were going to go up, and they just never did. Now, obviously, you're talking about one of the best leaders in the game today, somebody who is just a winner, and somebody who, when he came up and was Rookie of the Year in '96, just had that look about him like he'd been here before. And Jeter has been one of the most consistent players in the game over the past 9 years. The 1-2 pitch is high and tight, 2-2.
And at the risk of going gaga too much, I mean, this guy is thoroughly hip. He is about as hip, to use that young expression, as there is in any player in the game.
2-2 pitch. He's jammed, and he fouls it back toward the Yankee dugout, out of play.
He's tough. He's rugged. He is a winner. He's a guy who makes the big plays, and he has 4 World Series titles to his credit.
Clearly, the two of us are thoroughly in love with Derek Jeter.
Oh, come on. I knew that. I see what I say, at the risk of going gaga. I knew you would point out that I was going gaga.
Well, I was over there, too. I was in gaga land, too. He's a winner. He's a born leader. This is a live Yankeeography. 24 home runs this handsome, debonair, swashbuckling last guy to wear number 2 for the Yankees, hit back in '99. He is Derek Jeter, and he is out. 1 away here in the 3rd inning.
Cut it out.
Somehow, Glendon Rush got him to ground out. And here's Womack. Gaga Land is shut down for Tony Womack. The rides are closed. He takes high for ball 1. Womack grounded out. His average is down to 243, and he's just not getting on base. They have started to float the trade rumors. San Diego is a team that's mentioned that might have interest in somebody like Tony Womack.
I think a lot of teams, Joe.
I don't think there's any doubt. But he is playing out of position defensively, and there's no way that can't bleed over into what you're trying to do offensively. And trying to do it here at Yankee Stadium and trying to keep your head clear and try to focus on what you're doing. I refuse to believe that one has nothing to do with the other. Breaking ball is a beauty from Rush in the count 1-2.
Back in World War I, it was trench warfare, and between the trenches was called no man's land. If there's anybody in Major League Baseball that's between the trenches right now, it's Tony Womack.
He has stolen 16, and that was really the element that the Yankees wanted to bring here. Last year they were led by Rodriguez in the stolen base department. The problem is Womack can't add to that total like he wants to because he's not getting on base. I don't know if Rush got a piece of that or not. Either way, Womack is out, 2 out. Either got a piece of Rush or just had a lot of spin on it, kicked over toward Perez at short.
Womack has twice grounded to short. I think it's interesting to note that on a team with a $208 million salary, Robinson Cano, the second baseman, who's making the minimum, is really the guy that sent Womack to left field. He sent Matsui to center, Bernie Williams on the bench, an occasional designated hitter. But here it is, a $208 million salary that the Yankees are carrying, and it's a guy like Cano making the minimum that has left them in a good state of flux. Good for Cano, not for Womack.
And all we heard about Cano in years past was that he might be linked up with others as young players to be packaged for proven veteran help.
Yeah.
And he thought, well, they're just making him seem better than he is in the minor leagues, because his numbers in the minor leagues don't really knock you over. But he seems to get better every week here at the big league level. A perfect inning for Glendon Rush. 4th inning rolls in. That will include Derek Lee, who has the only hit for Chicago today. Fox Saturday Baseball brought to you by Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. By the Braun Activator, it's the world's best self-cleaning shaver guaranteed. By Bank of America, higher standards. As we move into the 4th inning, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Chicago. And there's Patterson. He's 2 for 2 today. He swung at the first pitch in both at bats. Strike 1 this time. First time up, he eventually grounded out the second. Lee will follow, and then Burnett. Dusty Baker was hot, I tell you, after last night's loss. Cubs fell behind 4-0, came back to lead 6-4, and then the combination of Zambrano and the bullpen blew it for Chicago in what could have been a really big win for the Cubs starting this series here at Yankee Stadium. Patterson out in front on that pitch. Long took something off, and now it's 1-2.
Cubs have been very good defensively. They have picked it up offensively. Their pitching has done yeoman work, but their bullpen has been their Achilles heel so far this year. Good changeup from Wong.
Another one. Back-to-back changeups. 185, that 184, and a strikeout is the second for Wong. How about Derek Lee? His average in the National League first. In the home run department, he's tied for first with Andrew Jones. And in the RBI department, tied for first with Carlos Lee. And you start talking about Triple Crown winners. The last time it was done in the National League was back in 1937. The last time it's happened overall was in 1967 by Yaz with the Red Sox. 1-0 pitch, 2-0.
The impossible dream year of the Red Sox. Jim Lonborg, Carl Yastrzemski, Rico Petrocelli.
Here's a 2-0. Lee takes a fastball right down the middle, 95 miles per hour, 2-1. One out, base is empty, and Lee takes it in the dirt, 3-1. It's interesting when you start looking at the players who have taken a bid for a Triple Crown, the deepest into the season without winning it. There's another hit for Lee. He's 2 for 2. The last guys to do it, as we said, back in 1937, Joe Ducky Medwick with the Cardinals, 374, 31, 154. The American League, Carl Yastrzemski, back in 1967, the last outright winner. 67 year, Yaz tied in the home run department. The last outright winner was Robinson in 66, right?
Frank Robinson, right?
1 on, 1 out. Here is Burnett. Ball 1 up and away.
The thing about it is, and a lot of people say that that was the worst trade in the history of the game. It was certainly among the top 5. The Lou Brock for Ernie Broglio, another bad trade. That happened June 15th of 1964. And then the winner of 65-66, Robinson, was traded to the Orioles for Milt Pappas, 1 for 1. And Robinson promptly led the American League in average, home runs, and RBIs.
So now the question is, which way do you want to go? You want to talk about Robinson and what he's doing with the Washington Nationals? Or do you want to talk about the guys who have taken their bid for a Triple Crown the deepest into a season? Here comes a 1-0 instead of check on the runner at first, Lee. Burnett is at the plate. A strikeout victim his first time up, and the latest to lead in the Triple Crown category since 1968. Dick Allen, Gary Sheffield did it with San Diego in 92, went to August 23rd. We'll get back to that to let you digest it a little more. 2-0 is the count on Burnett. See what Lee has done it through June 17th. Tony Perez, July 17th, and then there's Dick Allen, who was a teammate of yours.
Man. MVP for the White Sox in 1972. And you talk about a guy where the ball jumped off the fat part of the bat. Nobody's swing was any better than Dick Allen.
4-6-3, and off we go into the bottom of the 4th. A hit by Lee. Burnett bounces into the double play. Wong is rolling. He and the Yankees have a 1-0 lead. Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Chevy. The new Chevrolets, an American revolution. Threatening clouds overhead, but we'll be fine. Don't you worry. Bottom of the 4th inning. Glendon Rush back to work. He is doing his part, but his hitters haven't figured out the Yankee right-hander. 1-0 New York, and A-Rod, who has the only RBI of the day, leads off. After taking a while to settle in last year in his new digs at Yankee Stadium and in the pinstripes, the home cooking has been good for Rodriguez so far this season. 12 of his 19 home runs have happened here at home. And he's slugging .774 here at Yankee Stadium.
He's got an unusual stance, too. He goes from holding the bat flatly to holding it upright. Very few power hitters hold the bat flatly when a pitcher delivers the ball.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Rodriguez with Matsui and Posada to follow.
Flat. Upright.
And a ground ball to short for Neifi Perez. Takes his time and gets his man 1 out. So with 1 down, Hideki Matsui, who is the DH today, will step to the plate. Matsui turning that right ankle last Sunday. And I know it's been talked about, at least for the fans here in New York. Joe Torre's thoughts on Matsui and that ankle injury, but it has seemed to help his power stroke a little bit. He has been popping home runs and getting big hits for the Yankees in this homestand.
He has been forced to stay back on that back leg. He can't lunge. Lunging's one of the worst things you could do as a hitter, bringing the weight forward too early. The 2 main components of hitting is waiting and having quick hands. And that's what Matsui's done for the last week, because when he gets out front, his ankle hurts. Gingerly striding.
One ball, 2 strikes. That fastball is high. 91 from Rush. 2-2.
Don Mattingly, the hitting instructor, telling Matsui kiddingly that if you start lunging, I'm going to whack you on the right ankle again. Make sure you remember. Stay back.
Here's a 2-2 pitch with 1 out. Matsui rips one into the right field corner, and Hideki Matsui, bad ankle and all, will make it to second easily with 1 out here in the 4th. No word as to whether the Yankees have seriously thought about turning the ankle of Giambi. Oh, that's too easy. That's weak. Giambi's actually been hitting the ball better as Matsui gingerly steps it down and rips it into right.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to wait on the curveball. Wait till the ball gets to you, and he waited on the curveball from Rush. A pretty good pitch from Glendon. Nails it to right field.
So a 1-out double, and Jorge Posada, the switch hitting catcher, digs in and rips it into right center field. That's going to add to the Yankee lead. Posada and Matsui trade places. 2-0 New York in the 4th. And Posada drives in the guy who's been in the middle of all the action for the Yankees, Matsui.
Nothing ginger about that swing from Jorge Posada. 2 straight doubles on 2 straight pitches. And the Yankees extend their lead.
He can hit.
Yeah, he can. Yep.
Matsui scoring easily for a guy with a bad ankle, and Posada came in hitting just under 350 since the 9th of May. Today he's 1 for 2, and it's 2-0 New York in the 4th as Bernie Williams digs in.
Joe, we've talked about Mariano Rivera being the most important Yankee since their run back in 1996. A very close second has been Jorge Posada, a guy that the Yankees cannot do without.
That drops in for a strike on Williams. Well, you remember back in '96, Girardi was the main guy. Zimmer was a big part of bringing Girardi to the Yankees. Zimmer had him with Chicago, and he had him with Colorado. And Girardi really took Posada under his wing and taught him a lot about catching at this level. Now Girardi is back after spending last year injured with the Cardinals. He's the bench coach for Joe Torre, and some say when Joe Torre hangs it up, Girardi is the guy being groomed to take over.
Yeah, Joe calls him my contemporary Don Zimmer. Don Zimmer, of course, the manager of the Chicago Cubs back in 1989 when they won the division, lost to the Giants, and then the Giants and the A's played in the Earthquake Series in the Bay Area.
See Bernie Williams try to turn on that pitch, pulled it foul. 2-2. I would say Zimmer's better looking than Girardi, but that's me. Zimmer just had that lovable look sitting there next to Joe Torre with that smile on his face, or something bad would happen. His face would change. That's a foul ball. No chance to get an out if it stayed fair. Still 2-2. I think a guy that had a lot to do with Joe Torre's comfort level here in New York. Joe used to bounce so many things off Don Zimmer, and when the two signed off on it, it was done.
I think in order to do that, you have to have no fear of rejection. If you make a comment, you're feeding Joe Girardi, for instance, feeding Joe Torre all the time. And if Joe elects not to use you, don't feel bad about it. I mean, we'll eventually make the right move or not make the right move. It's my job to make the decision. And Torre's pretty upfront about that.
If you remember, as do a lot of fans in Chicago, when Don Zimmer was manager of the Cubs, he would throw the book right out the window. He'd try things that other managers wouldn't even dream of trying.
Who was his catcher? Joe Girardi.
Williams strikes out. 2 out in the inning as Glendon Rush picks up his 3rd strikeout of the day.
Excellent curveball out of the strike zone to a free swinging Williams.
Bank of America is proud to support Little League Baseball's urban initiative helping increase youth participation in baseball throughout our nation's cities. As the official bank of Major League Baseball, Bank of America donates $1,000 each week on behalf of the AL and NL Players of the Week. Player of the Week grants today are made in honor. What a play by Lee. Down the line to take an extra base hit and run away from the Yankees. You saw the faces of the 2 winners. Diamondbacks outfielder Sean Green, American League winner Torrey Hunter. And here's a Gold Glove play from a Gold Glover down the line to his left. He can do it all. Derek Lee, 2-0 New York. Well pitched game, 2-0. The Yankees on top now after adding a run in the 4th, driven in by Posada. And back to the hill is Chin-Ming Wong.
Can Derek Lee do more than he's done, not only in this game, but this season for the Chicago Cubs?
No.
Easily the MVP in the National League thus far. Easily.
He's won the Gold Glove in the past, and something that we talked about last year.
Look at this.
The plays that he makes over there, not just fielding his position, but taking low throws, digging them out of the dirt from his infielders. He is invaluable. And here's that play he made earlier in the game to end the 1st inning and maybe save another run. Check swing flare, and Aramis Ramirez will take about 100 more of those. Jeannie Zelasco is standing by with a game break. Jeannie.
Yeah, Philly's trying to pad their lead at Oakland. This is not the way to do it. Ramon Martinez grounds to Kirk Saarloos. Mike Lieberthal at second with nowhere to go but out. But wait, there's more. Martinez gets greedy. He's out at second. Next inning, more Phillies follies. Jim Thome to the gap. Bobby Abreu on first decides, you know what, I got enough to make it. Here I go. He's wrong. A's with a 2-run lead, top 5.
All right, Jeannie, Philadelphia coming into that game, winners of 8 of their last 10. They're a game and a half out, trailing the Washington Nationals in the NL East. The Mets are in last place in the East, 6 out. Florida's 4.5 out. The Braves are 4 out. And the Atlanta roster is a shadow of its former self, with the guys just going down one after the other.
Yeah. Think about that play in the Phillies game. There were 3 tagouts of the 3 outs made. Lieberthal, Martinez, and Abreu. 3 tagouts in 1/2 inning.
Ramirez is on at first with a flare hit to right. Todd Walker is at the plate. He takes a strike. There's the NL East. The Phillies are right on the heels of the Washington Nationals, and we will be in Philadelphia next week when the Red Sox come to town.
Yes, sir. Boston only 2 back in the American League East. They won last night on a great play by Jason Varitek at home plate, beating Pittsburgh.
They Got a hit from Johnny Damon, who's number 2 in the major leagues in total hits behind Derek Lee. Todd Walker is wearing a microphone for us today. By his own admission, he was jammed on a pitch his first time up when he flied to center. We hope to give you a chance to hear that. Steady grounds to first. 3, 6, 3. Nicely turned by Tino Martinez and Derek Jeter. Walker is 0 for 2. Here's what he thought about his first at bat back in the second.
Yeah, that one straight as the string, right down the middle. And I got jammed because I'm that late, thinking he's going to throw it over here.
That's the first time up. He jammed himself. And his last time up, he gets jammed again. Similar pitches.
So Walker's 0 for 2. The double play makes it 2 out, nobody on, and Michael Barrett stands in. Takes a strike. Barrett tapped out to third his first time up. These two organizations got together in the 32 World Series and the 38 World Series. The Yankees sweeping both. And if you go back 67 years to the 38 World Series, only one other time have the Cubs made it to the Fall Classic, in 1945. That's it. They were 5 outs away a couple of years ago, losing to the Marlins, who then came into the World Series against the Yankees and won it in 6 games behind the great pitching of Josh Beckett. So it has been a long time. The 2-1 pitch is low, 3-1. Longest droughts. Last championship for the Cubs, 1908. The AL, the White Sox, 1917. White Sox, you have to go back to 59, the last time they were in the World Series. Joe Torre had a second to talk with us between the top and bottom of the last inning. Well, I know you were coming off a 3-9 road trip when last we talked while you were in St. Louis. Joe, I think it's fair to say you look a little more relaxed down in the dugout today. Is that accurate?
I'm not sure you can say relaxed. I don't think you can do that here, but I'm certainly a lot more comfortable with the way we're playing, the way we're pitching, and the way we're fighting back. I think the middle game against Pittsburgh and last night's game were a good example of it.
Matsui's been such a big part of it. Posada's a guy that we were just talking about. Maybe your perspective on a guy that maybe gets taken for granted for the job he does swinging the bat. He's easy to overlook for some reason, but man, he is a terrific hitter for you.
Posada, yeah, he's really, being a switch hitting catcher, it's very unique. And the thing that's good about Georgie is the fact that he's pretty durable, and the fact that when the game's on the line, he has a real good at bat.
Chien-Ming Wong, the right-hander, you talked about sneaky fast, good movement, and so far he has come as advertised.
Yeah, the only thing is I don't think he's as comfortable with his off-speed stuff as he is with his fastball, but his movement and his placement on the fastball has really been a difference. And as you mentioned, he really has late giddy-up on that on the fastball. You can get it in on both left-handers and right-handers.
Hey, Joe, again, thanks for your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Joe.
That is very telling, that late giddy-up. That's one of the reasons that the Cubs can't center the ball. They can't center his fastball. Almost on cue, Todd Hollandsworth hits one off the end of the bat and breaks his bat. They've had similar at bats. The 2 by Todd Walker. A lot of ground balls. Only 1 out in the outfield this afternoon. That was in the second inning, a fly ball by Todd Walker.
Runner at first after the walk to Barrett. 2 out. The crowd starts to get behind Wong with 2 strikes on the hitter Hollandsworth. And he's gone. Wong has been fantastic. 3 strikeouts. He's allowed 3 singles. He's walked only 1. Halfway through it, bottom of the 5th inning, Yankee Stadium. 2-0 New York. Off we go into the bottom of the 5th. It's Robinson Cano, the number 9 hitter, Derek Jeter, and Tony Womack against Glendon Rush, who is pitching well, but not as well as Chien-Ming Wong. Base hit to start the inning, and Hollandsworth over to play it and hold Cano to a single. Dusty Baker joined us moments ago, and here's our little chat before the bottom of this fifth. Dusty Baker, thanks for joining us. Let's talk about this game. You're getting typical work from Glendon Rush. He has really been fantastic, but it looks like your guys are trying to figure out this right-hander Chin-Ming Wong.
Yeah, well, that's true. First time we've seen him, looks like he has a very good sinker. Every time we get a guy on base, he throws a sinker and it's turned into a double play. So we just got to make him get the ball up and you know, try to keep the ball off the ground, those double play situations.
Let's talk about the big picture real quick, and then we'll let you go, and that's about your team. Here you are, a few games over 500. You're starting to look into the future and see guys coming back. I think overall you would have to feel pretty good about where you're sitting right now.
Well, we do. I mean, you know, we'd feel better if we were sitting a little better, but, you know, we're about to get Kerry Wood back, hopefully in the next 10 days or 2 weeks. Hope to get back you know, Mark Pryor, which will really help our team, help our starting staff, and help our bullpen, because these guys are known to go deep in the game. So, you know, we can just, you know, get a few victories here and there, you know, in between, and just play better baseball. You know, we got a great shot at this thing.
Johnny B. Baker, thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome.
So again, the story with Wood. Another rehab start tomorrow in Iowa for the Cubs. And then Pryor threw a simulated game, 4 innings yesterday. Felt pretty good. Started to run out of gas at the end of the 4 innings, but they are, Tim, quietly, and I mean quietly, optimistic about his return, coming back way ahead of the schedule that some people dreamed up. Not the Cubs. I think they were trying to be very quiet about the fact that the injury wasn't as bad as they initially thought. He's not that far away.
Right on top of the right elbow. And Dusty telling us before the game how fortunate the Cubs and Mark Pryor were that he didn't shatter that thing. Frightening scene against Colorado.
There's a strike to Jeter, and now 1 ball, 2 strike count. Wild card standings, if you want to look at it, only 2.5 games behind the Phillies are the Cubs right now. The 2 power right-handers, Tim, are not the only power right-handers to talk about on their way back. Kurt Schilling threw yesterday for the Red Sox and threw without pain in that surgically repaired right ankle. That's a team, Boston, that's only 2 out in the AL East without him. And he hopes to come back before the All-Star break. Jeter is jammed. He flies it to center. 1 on, 1 out. Here are all the Cub injuries, at least the major ones that have hit them in 2005. April 20th, down goes Garciaparra. Torn groin. Played only 14 games, hit $150. 5 starts for Kerry Wood, an ERA over 6. And then the injury with Pryor being hit at the end of May. Pitched well after starting the season on the DL. He's there in the dugout with his arms crossed next to Maddox as the first pitch is a strike to Tony Womack from Glendon Rush. There's Zambrano, who pitched last night. Dusty Baker talked to him about his pitching approach after last night's game. He was bringing it, throwing in the upper 90s, and was blowing it by hitters. But then started to mix in breaking balls and started to change it up. Got a little too cute. According to Dusty Baker, that might have been what cost him against the Yankees last evening. There's a strike, and it's 1-2 on Womack.
Yeah, Dusty saying that he told Zambrano that, you know, remember last year's All-Star game? Just blowing the ball by Alex Rodriguez. You threw him the slider. You hit it to right center field. He said, well, last night you threw the slider. RBI single up the middle.
Infield hit for Womack. And it's 2 on with 1 out here in the 5th.
Tony Womack is the type hitter where, from a hitting instructor standpoint, you almost tell him, don't put good wood on the ball. You know, if you do, and I'm saying that kind of in jest, but kind of truthfully, Because when he puts good wood on the ball, he hits the long fly balls. He doesn't have the power to hit it out of the ballpark. But those types of hits are the type that help the ball club and him maintain his job.
Now the dangerous Sheffield, who lines one into center field. Patterson will come up throwing. To the plate is Cano. Throw cut off, and it's 3-0 Yankees in the 5th. Cano, who started this inning with a hit, scores.
Excuse me, Joe. Now that's good wood on the ball. Think of the Womack hit, and then a laser to center by Sheffield.
A vicious swing of the bat by Gary Sheffield, who does that every time at the plate. And here comes Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, to talk to Rush. After that, sent into center by Sheffield. So it's 2 on, 1 out. Alex Rodriguez coming to the plate, who's 1 for 2. And they're looking at Robinson Cano on the dugout bench. Came up a little gimpy after scoring from second on that hit by Sheffield. Don't forget, Tuesday, July 12th, baseball's greatest players gather in Detroit for one spectacular night. 76th All-Star game. Don't miss the biggest names as they battle for home field advantage in the World Series. Tuesday, July 12th, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, in high definition, only on Fox.
And remember, this year,
the last 2 years it's counted.
It certainly has. The Red Sox were certainly happy the All-Star game last year. They got to open at home in the World Series against the Cardinals.
Read an article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch this past week talking about home field advantage. The runners start and stop, and A-Rod pops it into right. Womack, the lead runner at second. He will tag and go to third. Throw there is cut off. First and third, 2 out. Tony La Russa in that article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch saying that he and Dave Duncan will approach this All-Star game with that front and center in their mind. They're going to go into this game playing it to win it because they believe that last year that had as much to do with them losing to the Red Sox. You could get an argument for days on that from Boston fans and baseball fans, but having to start that World Series on the road at Fenway Park as opposed to at home because of the results of the All-Star game, as opposed to any other time that they've been in charge of an All-Star team, they are going to try and win it as opposed to just get everybody in the game. As the first pitch is high to Hideki Matsui.
I'll tell you, Joe, in this game, you can make a strong case that with Rodriguez up the last time, that A-Rod made an out because the runners broke and stopped. Worst thing to do with a power hitter like that.
Matsui takes a strike. With 2 on and 1 out, Rodriguez up.
And particularly for a right-handed hitter. A right-handed hitter can see the guy at second. He can see the guy at first. When both break and then stop, you don't know whether to swing the bat or not. And sure enough, a tentative swing by A-Rod.
It's 1 and 2 on Matsui.
Check it out. Womack at second. Sheffield at first. The fake break. Now, if you're the hitter, you're seeing all that take place. It's tough enough to pick up the ball and get a good read on it, hit it solidly. You don't need the base runners running and stopping.
Rodriguez 1 for 3. Matsui is 1 for 2 with a double and a run scored his last time. First and third, 2 out, and that barely missed. Rush thought he was out of the inning, but it's 2 and 2. See if it was low. You can see why Rush liked it. 2 and 2. Matsui taps it foul. Here's a potential free agent at the end of the year, Hideki Matsui. He is without a deal.
And will clearly take less to play for the Yankees, because that's what he did when he came from the Tokyo Giants. $21 million for 3 years, a steal for New York.
Here's a 2-2. Matsui hits it to Perez. Ball comes up. The inning is over. The Yankees get another run. 6th inning now at Yankee Stadium. Cubs got to get it going. They trail 3-zip. This week in Major League Baseball history, June 12, 1939, the Baseball Hall of Fame was officially dedicated at Cooperstown, New York. America's beer salutes America's pastime. Budweiser, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball. More information, log on to foxsports.com on MSN, keyword baseball. Here is Jason DuBois, the DH in the number 9 spot, and he rips one into left center field. Is that going to go? Up and out. The Cubs are on the board. It's 3-1.
That would have been on Waveland Avenue in Chicago. Talk about a guy apparently going up looking for a pitch to hit and not fouling it back. I mean, that ball was hammered.
Guy who's hit as many as 24 home runs in a minor league season just hit his 6th in the big leagues. And it looked like this. Coming in and going out. So it's now 3-1. Top of the order, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike on Neifi Perez. Only the 3rd home run hit by a Cub at Yankee Stadium in team history.
Yeah, with that man coming out yet again, that would have earned a thwack.
Joe Marty, Ken O'Day, and now Jason DuBois, 1 out here in the 6th. Let's get a game break out to Jeannie Zalaska.
And the D train has rolled into Anaheim Station of Los Angeles, excuse me. Dontrell Willis, like in that 2005 form so far, 4 Ks on the day, and Carlos Delgado helping his cause. Singling home Luis Castillo, picks up his 50th RBI of the season. By the way, is the all-time leader in runs batted in during interleague play. 1-0 Marlins.
All right, Jeannie, and look at 2 of the best starting pitchers in the National League this season. Willis is gunning for his 12th win of the year. Pedro is going to take on Seattle. The numbers are fantastic for Martinez with the Mets. And in his career, 13-0 for Martinez against the Seattle Mariners in 14 starts, and he pitches for New York today.
1.30 earned run average against Seattle is Pedro Martinez.
And I know it hurts, Chicago. I know it hurts. Willis was traded away by the Cubs to the Marlins in the Clement deal. Which one of those 2 would you tab as your National League starting pitcher in the All-Star game? With 2 out, here's Lee, and there's a foul straight back.
I think Dontrell Willis has got to be the starter, in my view. Obviously, Pedro makes the team, but interestingly, Matt Clement, right now, if the All-Star game were in the next week, Matt Clement would be on the American League All-Star team.
And you wouldn't have a room in Detroit if the game were next week.
That is correct.
The 0-1 to Lee.
Anyway.
You never know. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 out, nobody on. The inning started with a home run by DuBois. Looked like one of those golden eggs laid by one of the geese that Veruca Salt wanted in Willy Wonka. What is that?
I don't know. 3 baseballs in his right hand,
Yeah,
perhaps?
but the one is like gold.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a heavy It's a heavy ball, I would imagine.
Chopped to third, foul.
Some pitchers try to stretch their fingers out. And also using a heavier ball makes the normal ball, the 5 1/3 ounce regular baseball, seem lighter.
Gordon, who was part of the victory last night for the Yankees, setting up Rivera, as he has done so well all year long. 2 out, and Derek Lee wants time. Cubs are now 0-5 in their history here at Yankee Stadium, and trailing today 3-1 in the 6th. Another strikeout for Wong. That's 4 on the day. The inning started. First pitch. Cracked. The Cubs were on the board. It's a 2-run Yankee lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Fox Saturday Baseball brought to you by WebMD, America's health site. By Radio Shack, you've got questions, we've got answers. By Pepsi, it's the cola. And by GMC Trucks and SUVs, we are professional grade. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Yankees have Posada, Williams, and Tino Martinez against Glendon Rush. Pitchers duel to this point, 3-1. And Posada has an RBI double. He's 1 for 2. The lefty brings it and gets strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. If you're in a mood to buy a tie at some point later today, it'd be convenient because tomorrow is Father's Day.
Or a book.
Or a book. Maybe a pair of slippers. Outside, 3-1 on Posada.
It's a funny term that you haven't heard a lot of in a long time. A pair of slippers. Slippers seem to be out. No?
What do you call them?
Well,
house shoes?
No, just the words. Yeah, maybe house shoes. I'm not even sure house shoes is even in. Flip-flops in warm weather.
I'm not sure
Sandals.
Slippers are in.
No, I know.
Period.
Slippers, house shoes, things like that, they're not in vogue.
I'll lead off walk, and right on cue, it's time for our Pepsi GoPro fan cam.
It's time for the Pepsi GoPro fan cam. Happy Father's Day. Hi, Dad. I love you. Happy Father's Day. Hey, Dad. Thanks for taking me to the ball game. Happy Father's Day.
Let's throw it back to a couple of dads in the booth. Joe and Tim. Happy Father's Day.
Do you think you're the ultimate baseball fan? Watch the 2005 Major League Baseball All-Star Game live on Fox July 12th at 8 Eastern and get the password with your chance to win the Pepsi GoPro MLB Pass sweepstakes. Pepsi is the official drink of Major League Baseball, and not only 2 dads here in the booth, but a granddad here in the booth with little Bo Root in the back of the booth, the pride of one Tim McCarver.
Bo 4.5, and I think it's going to be a player.
Diving try by Perez. Bernie Williams has a hit. And it's 2 on with nobody out. A walk, a single. And the Yankees are making noise here in the 6th inning after the Cubs just got on the board.
Good try by Perez at shortstop. Ball really well hit. Bernie's second hit of the day. Nice try by Nathy. Posada has to stop at second.
Bernie had some good swings last night. He seems like he's starting to come around with a bat. And he's finding his name on that lineup card more often than not these days, as Tino Martinez is playing. And here's his season. He had that stretch, 12 games where he hit 10 home runs. May 3rd through the 15th. You go back to the 17th of May, however. His last 23 games, he's hitting 127 with no home runs and 3 RBIs. And Dusty Baker is making his way out to the mound. That might be it for Glendon Rush. Action out in the bullpen for Chicago, and Rush will get the word from his manager. He's gone. The word is goodbye. 2 on, nobody out, 3-1 here in the 6th. Welcome back. Today's WebMD Health Update focuses on Cubs pitcher Mark Prior, hit on that pitching elbow, which we highlight. You can check out your own symptoms at WebMD.com. Prior working his way back, and right now Rich Hill, the rookie left-hander, will try to help the Cubs work their way out. Here's Prior in that simulated effort yesterday afternoon here at Yankee Stadium. Threw 4 innings and threw well. Dusty Baker had to almost conceal his smile when talking about the way Prior is feeling and how far along the road to recovery he actually is. But here's Rich Hill, who makes his second big league appearance. He's a guy who can pile up strikeouts, and that's one of the big reasons why he's in now. 2 on, nobody out, and that good curveball which Hill features is swung on and missed by Tino Martinez. Glendon Rush, 5+ innings, 9 hits, a walk, 3 strikeouts. Now he has to watch the rookie try and avoid any further damage. Fastball, a wide strike, and it's 0-2.
Good curveball coming back with the fastball. Rich Hill from Boston, 25 years old. And this past winter, didn't work on strength, stretching. He worked on his mind, the mental part of the game.
And a check swing. Martinez couldn't hold up. 3 pitches and a strikeout for Hill.
The name of the book with which he subscribes is Thinking Body, Dancing Mind. And he throws a few dancing curveballs in there. He's a very intelligent young man. I talked to him before the game, Joe, and he said that's his plan. He said once you sign a professional contract, what sets you apart is your brain and not necessarily the other parts of the body. So a checkup from the neck up this winter for Rich Hill.
Another lefty, Robinson Cano, who struggled against left-handed pitching this season. And what's interesting is when he walked into the clubhouse, Carlos Zambrano, the right-hander, and the starter for last night's lineup for the Cubs, said he's going to win a lot of games with us because he just looks like he's confident, which goes along with what you're saying. Right now he's 2-0 on Cano, but he's got very good stuff. And if he can come out of the bullpen here at Yankee Stadium with his team down by 2 and trying to keep it that way and get the job done, he will show something to Dusty Baker right here and now. A 2-0 pitch. 3-0. The statistics are overwhelming for Rich Hill with strikeouts to innings pitched, not only this year, but in the short time he's been in the minor leagues. He needs to throw a strike here, and he does. 3-1. Came into this season with 297 minor league strikeouts in 221 innings. Here's a 3-1. A walk to load the bases. We're not the only ones who know about the stats for Rich Hill. Moments ago when he came in, Todd Walker on the dugout bench had this to say.
Seeing the numbers on this kid, like in the minor leagues, he had like 2 strikeouts an inning. Even the other day, I mean, he gave up 3 doubles, but he struck out 2 guys, you know.
Todd Walker in on that meeting on the mound. Rich Hill comes in, strikes out Tino Martinez, walks fellow rookie Robinson Cano to load the bases for Derek Jeter. Borowski coming in. Another chance for Derek Jeter, who had one last night, to hit a grand slam. 135 career at-bats with the bases loaded. No home runs, the longest active streak There are the guys on. Posada, Williams, Cano. And it's Joe Borowski, the former closer for the Cubs, in to try to keep Chicago in this game. Rush started the inning. Rich Hill got 1 out, walked a man. And here's Borowski, who started the season on the DL.
Remember, Jeter with more ground balls than any other major leaguer, and the Cubs need one right now at somebody.
Not close for ball 1. Borowski has converted 44 of 54 save opportunities. The former closer. And he didn't pitch for the Cubs this year until the 20th of May. In a tight spot here, he misses low and away, 2-0.
Just thinking, even though this is not defined as a save opportunity, it's more important than a save opportunity to keep the Cubs in the game.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Jeter 0 for 3 today, takes a strike. Talked about the velocity being down for Borowski. As Dusty Baker has said, you can live in the big leagues throwing 87, 88, but it's what you do with it. It's how you change speeds. It's the spots you hit that can get you by with reduced velocity. 2-1 pitch. In the air to left center field. Back is Hollingsworth at the wall. It is his first grand slam. It took until his 136th chance with the bases loaded in his big league career to go deep. One ball, one strike on Tony Womack. One and two.
Before the game this afternoon, the United States Army with several parachutists landing here at Yankee Stadium. Well, another one airborne.
Into left center field. It just kept on going, and now Womack hits one in the air to right for Burnett for out number 2. Want to go back into Gagaville?
Got out.
Jeter with a slam to open it up, 7-1 here in the 6th inning. You can see from our vantage point, it looked initially like he got under it too much to get it out, and it just kept going. Strike 1 to Sheffield. One ball, one strike. It has been a career filled with curtain calls for Derek Jeter. Pleasing some of the toughest fans in all of sports time after time. As Jeter watches, Sheffield with 2 out, nobody on, is up on the count 2-1. And there's that Dontrelle Willis game. Still leading 1-0 at the Angels in the 7th. Derek Jeter chant from the crowd here at Yankee Stadium. Sheffield with 2 out on 2-2. Takes ball 3. The opposite way. Impressive piece of hitting by Sheffield to keep this 6th alive. And Sheffield's 3 out of 4. There was so much room on that side of the field, and Sheffield found it.
2 liners up the middle and a base hit to right field. Thunderous hands by Gary Sheffield.
We've gone this long and haven't even talked about a new Yankee Stadium, which will start to tackle in the 7th. Yankee Stadium originally built in 1923. They had that 2-year refurbishment layoff in 74 and 75. It is the 3rd oldest park in the big leagues, behind Fenway and Wrigley.
Wayne Fiddleman, one of our guys in the truck who does such a terrific job, came up with this little beauty. At the present Yankee Stadium took only 284 days to build at the cost of $2.5 million, $675,000 for the land on which this stadium was built. What a bargain and what memories.
The inning is over. Rodriguez strikes out. 6th inning history, but not before Derek Jeter, with the bases loaded, finally gets one up and out. Grand slam, 7-1 Yankees, trying to take the first 2 games of this 3-game set for the Cubs. Shin-Ming Wong is back to the hill. He has a 6-run cushion as we move to the 7th inning. Derek Jeter knows what that feels like now. A grand slam in the big leagues. Burnett's first up on the count, 2-0. Five runs allowed on the day for Glendon Rush in 5+ innings. 4 earned. Rich Hill gives up a run in a 1/3 of an inning. No hits, a walk, and a strikeout, and Borowski gives up the grand slam to Jeter. Here's a 2-1 to Burnett's. 2-2.
That's the impressive thing about Wong. A changeup and a fastball situation when you're 6 runs ahead.
He's allowed a run on 4 hits. He misses wildly with ball 3. Full count. After Burnett's, Aramis Ramirez and Todd Walker.
A lot of pitchers can't pitch with a big lead because they get out of the rhythm. They get out of the rhythm that got them there to begin with.
That's down the left field line, well hit by Burnett's into the corner. It is foul. And the count's still full. Burnett's today has struck out, bounced into a double play. 25-year-old right-hander, 6'3", 200 pounds, from Taiwan. Shin-Ming Wong brings home a 3-2. And Burnett's pops it up. Left field for Womack. Cubs leadoff man is gone. We give you our Subway game summary. Matchup of the 2 starters, and Wong is now 1 out into the 7th. Jeter, his first career grand slam. Sheffield has 3 hits. There are the numbers for Matsui during this homestand. So the Yankees are well on their way of winning the first 5 games of that homestand. They swept the Pirates, won last night 9-6, and lead today 7-1. Ball 1 in the dirt to Ramirez. Ramirez 1 for 2.
Pittsburgh has moved up north. They will be playing the Red Sox once again this evening against Tim Wakefield, who used to pitch for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
See, the Phillies and A's are already in the 8th with Oakland leading 2-1. That new ballpark for the Yankees has the potential of changing the game of baseball.
In what way?
I'll tell you after Ramirez does something.
All right. You have piqued
my own little tease. On 1-1 up the middle to his right. Cano, what a play. 2 out. We're going to have to wait on the Yankee Stadium talk as we watch Cano act like Jeter.
Making the catch is one thing. The strong throw is quite another. That's a dandy right there.
Good play by the rookie, and Cano gets a little glove slap from Derek Jeter, who's made that play in the hole time after time, jumping up into the air and turning with the throw. They like their double play combination up the middle here with the Yankees. Here's Walker with 2 out, nobody on, and he goes into right center field. Sheffield won't get there, and Walker with 2 out digs into second. Williams floats it back in. It's a 2-out double. You mentioned Wayne Fiddleman. I'll mention Steve Horn, our editorial consultant.
All right.
We were talking about it earlier, and a lot's been made about the fact the collective bargaining agreement allows clubs to deduct the cost of new stadiums from their income, which has a lot to do with the revenue sharing and the money that goes into the big pot, which is then spread among the other teams. And people say, well, a new Yankee Stadium, they're going to write that cost off, and that's going to take money out of the revenue sharing plan, and it's going to hurt other clubs. Well, I'm with the Yankees and a lot of people up here that say big deal. I mean, the Yankees have every right to build a new ballpark.
Absolutely. As
much as any other club has the right. But when you think about what's happened here over the last 4 or 5 years, first of all, the Yes Network, has been around for 5 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. And a lot of that has been based on the success that's happened with the Yankees on the field. The job that first Bob Watson did putting this team together. Now Brian Cashman, Joe Torre, with the excellent job he's done managing this team from the dugout. And names like that guy, Tino Martinez, Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, Posada. The success that they have had on the field. Remember, it wasn't that long ago that the Yankees were saying, well, we can't get anybody to the Bronx. We can't draw here. We can't get enough people through the gates. Now they can't wait to build a new stadium just north of here in what is Macombs Dam Park. So what they say will be a cost of $800 million, which will be picked up by the ball club. But I haven't gotten to the juicy part yet.
Pretty juicy.
With 2 out, the base is empty. Barrett fouls one off to the right. You consider how much money has been made here. Some people think the Yes Network may be as profitable or worth as much, if not more, than the Yankee franchise itself. And that's because of the success that they've had on the field. George Steinbrenner, Randy Levine, all the people that are involved in the decisions have turned this whole franchise into a cash machine that's just been spitting out money that they've had to share a lot of with the rest of the owners across baseball. Pitch in the dirt, 1-2 now on Barrett. But you think about what would happen in a new ballpark with a ton of new cash coming to the Yankees, with instead of 18 luxury boxes, 50, and the money that can be made, it's going to further widen the gulf between the Yankees and everybody else. And I believe, as we talk here in 2005, it will lead to the ownership side being galvanized as that ball rolls foul, and eventually demanding a salary cap in the next collective bargaining agreement. Because if you consider what's been done now and then add this enormous influx of cash with the new ballpark, think of the money that can be thrown around by the Yankees once they go into a new stadium.
And that is provided that the revenue sharing will be the same after the new collective bargaining agreement, which ends in the 2006 season.
And it's to the Yankees' credit, the people in charge here, what this franchise has turned into. And you want to go back to the 95 season, but 96 when Torrey came here in that World Championship. over the Atlanta Braves and the run that they had, 98, 99, 2000 winning. And then all anybody wants to make out of the situation here is the $208 million payroll. But just throwing cash at a ball club and saying, well, here you go, you got more money spent, therefore you should win, it doesn't always translate. You can see the Orioles are a team that's tried that, it hasn't worked. The Dodgers in the past have been a team that's tried that, it hasn't worked. Barrett with another foul ball. So you wonder what a new stadium will lead to. And I mean, for George Steinbrenner, who bought this franchise in the early 70s for what?
Little
$10
over
million?
Little over $10 million bucks.
1973, $10 million.
Chump change.
I mean, Rodriguez has made that this week, playing third base. What a deal. 1 ball, 2 strikes, runner at second, 2 out. Barrett chops another foul.
Mega Buck Galopoulos.
That little counter in the right hand of Mel Stottlemyre. Says 81. That's how many pitches Shin-Ming Wong has thrown to this point. A 9-pitch at bat here for Barrett. More pitches this inning than any other, thanks in large part to Barrett, who strikes out. Posada finishes it, and Wong has been in total control from the get-go. He struck out 5, walked 1, and allowed 1 run on 5 hits, and leads by 6. We will stay here on this Saturday and honor America with God Bless America at Yankee Stadium.
Since the end of the Vietnam War, today, as part of both Yankees Military Appreciation Day and a national tribute, we ask all Vietnam veterans, as well as all veterans and active military personnel, to please stand up as we applaud you for your service to our country. And now, please direct your attention to the microphone behind home plate and welcome Decca Universal Classics recording artist Ronan Tynan, who will sing God Bless America.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a land so fair, as we raise our voices in a solemn prayer. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Fox Saturday Baseball brought to you by Canon, with thousands of products and one simple idea: giving people know-how. Canon, know-how. And by Goodyear Forterra, tough on the outside, soft on the inside. That's what he used to say on the back of Tim McCarver's baseball card. Bottom of the 7th inning, Matsui, Posada, and Bernie Williams against Todd Wellmeyer out of the Cubs bullpen. 4th pitcher of the day for Chicago. It's 7-1 Yankees. It is a very young bullpen for Chicago. They've got some guys who can pitch, but they are low on experience, and Wellmeyer is trying to settle in as he's had a little up and down period of his career between the big leagues and AAA over the past year. 3-0 now on Hideki Matsui. Matsui takes ball 4, a 4-pitch walk. Our in-game box score for the Yankees is brought to you by Prilosec. Jeter with one important swing of the bat. A grand slam, which came last inning. Womack has a hit. Sheffield has 3. Bernie Williams has 2 more. Robinson Cano has a base hit plus a walk, and he scored twice. Here's Posada. In for strike 1. Talking to Dusty Baker about getting guys like Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor back, he said instead of having to go to your bullpen and wear them out 4 out of every 5 days, maybe it drops down to 2 out of every 5 days, and it can make such a difference for a young group, because everybody can settle into more of a role and have a better feel for what's up, because Baker's had to run that bullpen out there day after day, and they've been exposed so far this season.
So it's a way, as you look at the National League ranks, it's a way for a pitcher to be a real team player. A guy like Kerry Wood, Mark Pryor could come in and in the process of performing well, they can help the team a lot more. Normally you don't think of pitchers in that vein, but they can help the team a lot more by giving the bullpen fewer chances to ignite a rally, or as has happened in this game, Riccio comes in, walks the hitter after striking out one, and then the home run by Derek Jeter. And the game, Cubs are still in it, but the 6-run lead with Mariano Rivera in the bullpen is awfully, awfully difficult.
1 ball, 1 strike. You can see if you look at the radar gun that Wellmeyer get it up there in the mid-90s. And he took something off there. Strike 2 on a swing and a miss from Bernie Williams.
Looked like a sinker running away from Bernie Williams.
Rivera lately has been unhittable. Broken bat, 3rd hit of the day for Bernie Williams. He's 3 for 4. 2 on, 1 out. We're back to our regular start time next weekend. And you'll either see the Red Sox and Phillies, the Orioles and Braves early at 1 Eastern, noon Central. The Rangers and Astros, Mariners and Padres, 3 Central, 1 Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. So we will have a matchup of the Phillies, who are a game and a half out in the NL East, against the Red Sox, who right now are 2 out in the AL East. The Angels have tied the Marlins, and Dontrell Willis 1-1, bottom of the 8th there. 2 on, 1 out here for Martinez, strike 1. And Oakland still clinging to that 1-run lead. From Todd Wellmeyer, but it misses, ball 1. Cubs in the top of the 8th will have the bottom 2 in their lineup. The number 9 hitter Du Bois has provided the only run for Chicago with a home run 2 innings ago. That's low. They appeal, no swing, 2-1. There is 0 humidity on this beautiful day in New York, June 18th. Cubs and Yankees, and Wellmeyer floats one past the bat of Martinez, 2-2.
Well, that is a struggling Tino Martinez. After that stretch you mentioned earlier that ended on May 15th when he had 10 home runs in 13 days. He's been 7 for 58 in a free fall.
Fastball's low, full count. Cano on deck, 3-2 pitch, and Martinez gets a piece of it.
That's a sign of a real struggling hitter. When in fastball counts, you get a fastball, and you look as poor as Martinez has on his last 2 swings. A 2-1 pitch, and now the 3-2 pitch.
Again on 3-2 and a swing and a miss. Martinez strikes out for the 3rd time today. 2 down. And Cano will be the hitter. How about the Texas Rangers, and how about that aging left-hander and former Yankee Kenny Rogers?
The secret to surviving.
He's on a 9-game winning streak.
Knowing what to keep.
Leads the American League in earned run average. 9-2 overall.
The best you can hope for is
that's the best winning streak in the big leagues this season. A game and a half out are the Texas Rangers behind the Angels, who tie the Marlins in their game today. Right now it's a 2-team race in the AL West. The AL Central led by the White Sox, who still have baseball's best record and a 5.5-game lead over Minnesota. And then that bunch at the top of the AL East. Cano. Strike 1.
Kenny Rogers aging like a good Bordeaux, a wine. One of 4 40 years old, with a winning streak of 9 games or more since 1920. He has been thorough for the Rangers.
The other Kenny Rogers is aging well too.
Yes, he is. Like a bottle of Burgundy.
Thanks there, sideways. That's slapped down the left field line, foul.
Neither Kenny Rogers is aging like Merlot,
which has evidently taken a hit.
Sent sideways.
Sent sideways.
It has.
Thanks to Paul Giamatti, who, by the way, is great, an unsolicited plug for the movie Cinderella Man.
Oh, man.
Did you see it or not?
I did. I took you up on it.
And?
I loved it. Loved it.
Now we're getting into a local broadcast. Here's a 1-2 pitch.
Mike and the Mad Dog critique movies.
Great. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I didn't realize Cinderella Man, you had to bring a box of Kleenex along with you.
See?
My gosh. Told me right, though.
Tough on the outside, soft on the inside. Tim McCarver.
Stop it.
2-2. Derek Lee gets a nice hop, goes to the bag, and we are through 7. Tim is weeping at the sign at the end of the 7th, but excited about our DHL game break, because right now Jeannie Zelasco and Kevin Kennedy come along. Fox Saturday Baseball brought to you by DHL, delivering America's pastime on time. Chien-Ming Wang, the right-hander, deals low, and we're underway in the 8th inning. 7-1, the Yankees out in front of the Cubs. Hollinsworth first up, then Du Bois, who homered in the 6th. The only Cub run of the day. To the left side, a high hop for Alex Rodriguez. One out. Todd Walker has worn a microphone for us today. We thank him. And here are his thoughts as he sits on the dugout bench for the Cubs.
Well, you know, when you get in swing mode like that, you know, it's impossible to lay off anything else, you know. When you foul 4 or 5 off, it's impossible to go, you know. Yeah, I mean, there was some he could have been played, I'm just saying. He fouled off some good ones, too. And then when he does that.
Talking to Michael Barrett about that at bat. Interesting soundbite in the 7th. One foul ball after another, and eventually striking out on a bad ball low. With one down, here is Du Bois. He takes a ball inside. Swing mode. That's what Barrett was in, and he couldn't lay off.
That's right. And the good pitches, you don't know whether he did it intentionally or not, but Wang followed him out of the strike zone. He ended up striking out on a ball out of the strike zone as Wang looks to get his first major league complete game.
2 out, nobody on here in the 8th. This Father's Day, bring your dad to the ballpark and join Major League Baseball and the Prostate Cancer Foundation in raising awareness for prostate cancer research. Log on to MLB.com and look for the blue ribbon for more information on how you can help. Final in from Oakland with the A's beating Philadelphia 2-1. Yankees will have the Devil Rays next. The Cubs will go to Milwaukee. And they're going to need an extra starter on Tuesday. It'll either be Jerome Williams, a right-hander they picked up from the Giants in the LaTroy Hawkins deal last month, who's been good, an ERA of 2.5 and 4 starts at AAA. Or it'll be the young lefty, Rich Hill, we saw earlier. A 1-2-3, 8th inning for Wang. His best start in the big leagues. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Jeter first up, 7-1 Yankees. Our day flashes by from this Saturday at Yankee Stadium. And right on cue, Derek Jeter gets a standing O here at Yankee Stadium as these fans celebrate his first career Grand Slam, which came in the 6th. We thank Victor Gonzalez for putting that piece together, doing his great work as he does week in and week out, baseball, football, whatever. Jeter takes down and in ball 1. The Derek Jeter chant going on. Bartosh, a left-hander. Cliff Bartosh, who is 0-2 with an ERA of 5.3, is into the game. And Jeter hits it into right center field. Pretty well hit at the wall. That is off the top of the wall. They're calling it. And Jeter thinks it's a home run. No umpire made any signal. And now Jeter's being told the ball's in play. That ball looked like it was gone, but the second base umpire, Mike Riley, didn't make any sign, and now he does and says it's a home run.
Yeah, it looked like it hit the yeah, it looked like it hit the bar that runs right behind the right center field fence. Funny thing was Michael Barrett made a fake tag, a mock tag at Derek Jeter, and he avoided it touching home plate.
No umpire made any sign as to whether that ball was in play with a safe call or with the home run call. They just stood there.
I kept looking at Mike Riley, who was in shallow center field, and that ball cleared the right center field fence. A home run is second in a row. by Derek Jeter.
And another curtain call after this off the yellow bar. Beyond the wall.
There it is.
But Riley was out there, the second base umpire, I think, hoping for help behind him because he didn't see it.
You know what, Joe? I can understand that.
I can too.
I think that either a yellow line should be put across the wall. I can understand an umpire's indecision on a ball like that. That yellow line is only a couple of feet beyond the fence. And it seems to me that it would make more sense to put a yellow line on top of the fence, because that is very difficult to call a home run because of its proximity behind the fence.
See, way back in the second when we were just heaping praise on Derek Jeter, talking about all those home runs, what's he gone on to do? Hit a grand slam and follow it up with a solo shot leading off the eighth.
Pop, pop.
His 7th multiple home run game of his career, and he has 8 homers on the year. His average is over 300 now. And Jeter has made it 8-1 here in the 8th. Here is a 3-2 to Womack. He rips one into right, but that'll hang up for Burnett. 1 out. Batter will be Gary Sheffield here in the 8th. Fox Saturday Baseball brought to you by Subway. Experience the great taste of a freshly toasted sub today. Subway, eat fresh. By the Sharp Aquos, there's more to see. By Chevy, the new Chevrolet is an American revolution. And by Prilosec OTC, 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. First pitch of ball to Gary Sheffield, who's 3 out of 4. Shin-Ming Wong is finished after going 8 outstanding innings here today. 8 innings. He's allowed 1 run on 5 hits. Moments ago, getting congratulations from Mel Stottlemyre and Joe Torre. Language barriers or not, getting big smiles right in your face from your pitching coach and your manager lets you know what they think of your outing. 88 pitches. He certainly could have stayed in to go more, but sure, after 8, with those numbers, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, he's finished. Sheffield with a vicious rip, still 1-2.
China is well aware of the prestige in international baseball, and Jim Lefevre has been hired as an advisor to be the Chinese baseball coach for the upcoming Olympics. Upcoming, I say, will be the Olympics in 2008 in Beijing. It should be interesting. I'm sure Shin-Ming Wong would be one of the advisors, along with a few other major leaguers from Taiwan, Korea.
2 out here in the inning as Sheffield grounds out. Wong pitched for Taiwan in the 2004 Olympic Games. And today he is impressive against the Cubs. And you start to think about the Yankee rotation. They're getting dominance now out of Randy Johnson. Back-to-back stellar starts. He struck out 11 against the Pirates his last time out. Pavano's been better. Last night ran out of gas in the 6th. They get this out of Wong today.
You're unbelievable.
Derek Jeter has provided the breathing room for Shin-Ming Wong today with a grand slam. Next at bat, a solo shot to right center. Jeter's doing his thing. The Yankees lead 8-1 after 8 over Chicago. We welcome you back. Yankee Stadium 8-1 as we move to the 9th inning. And don't forget Fox's newest drama, The Inside. It focuses on the FBI's Los Angeles-based Violent Crimes Unit, Peter Coyote and Rachel Nichols, who's in the Amityville Horror, will star in that. It airs Wednesday, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on Fox. Bubba Crosby takes over in center. Bernie Williams the rest of the day off, and Russ Johnson at third. Alex Rodriguez will sit the rest out. Tanyan Sturtz is pitching for the Yankees, and Patterson's 0 for 4. First out here in the 9th inning, and Sturtz, Tim, was a candidate to come out of the bullpen and make a start on Tuesday. Instead, they're going to call up the lefty Sean Henn because Joe Torre doesn't want to mess with a guy who's very valuable out of the bullpen for the Yankees, and Sturtz.
He's had a rough going lately because he's been too wild in the strike zone. Scott Seabold of the St. Louis Cardinals with a 2-run homer, his first major league home run last Sunday in St. Louis. Off Tanyan Sturtz. He took the loss in that game. Those are the type fastballs that Mel Stottlemyre's looking for out of Sturtz. Taylor over the outside part of the plate.
Evens account at 1-1 against Derek Lee, who's 2 out of 3. His average up to 389. That's into center, easy for Crosby, and the first 2 are gone in the 9th. Burnitz will step to the plate with 2 out, nobody on here in the 9th inning. Chin Ming Wong went 8. The 25-year-old allowing a run on 5 hits. The home run, the only blemish by Du Bois back in the 6th. Only 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Jeter with a solo shot and a grand slam today, and that was plenty for the pitching combination of Wong and now Sturtz. Strike 1 to Burnitz. Yankees, after that 3-9 road trip, are 5-0 to start a 13-game homestand if they can manage somehow to nail this one down. Sturtz trying to do it right here against Burnitz. The 1-1. 2-1.
Easier to hit in situations like this. Cubs 7 runs down, fastball situation, short, inviting, right field porch, and a powerful hitter up.
That's ball 3, 3-1. Burnitz can extend it. Aramis Ramirez is next. A 2-out walk. Gives us a chance to give you our Chevrolet player of the game, and it's Derek Jeter with the grand slam in the 6th inning. 136th career at bat with the bases loaded, and that was his first career grand slam. In recognition of his outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, Chevy, and American Revolution. And once again, in honor of Father's Day, taking time to support the Home Run Challenge, Major League Baseball's effort to raise money to find a cure for prostate cancer. 3 home runs hit today. $90,000 has been added and will be donated toward prostate cancer research. Now 1 strike away are the New York Yankees from going to 3 games over 500. Ramirez takes ball 1. One-two pitch, 2-2. Ramirez has a single. Derek Lee had 2 singles today. Walker a double. Du Bois a home run. And that's all for Chicago. Two. In the air to left. Womack is under it. The Yankees have won the first 2 games of this series against the Cubs, and the Cubs are now 0-5 in their franchise history here at Yankee Stadium. Tanyan Sturtz shuts it down. A 2-hour, 42-minute game, an 8-1 victory for the New York Yankees. Don't forget, next week we will be in Philadelphia for the Red Sox and Phillies, or the Orioles and Braves, Rangers, Astros, Mariners, and the Padres. NASCAR on Fox tomorrow. Nextel Cup Racing from Michigan. Coverage begins at 1:30 Eastern. For more information on today's game and for the latest information on Major League Baseball, go to foxsports.com, powered by MSN. You got anything, Tim?
No.
Okay. For Tim, I'm Joe. So long from New York. Right now, Jeannie Zelasco and Kevin Kennedy.